Oh, well, there we go. So live on the Muscleton TV podcast today with the ladies. So, ladies, if you don't mind, could Tracey introduce yourself, please, and who you are, what you've done, and what you've won?
Okay, so my name is Tracey Hutchinson. I have competed in NABBA. I've also done a couple of other federations as well, but NABBA is the one that I really was driving towards. This year I competed in NABBA Northern Ireland, winning that, and then I went on to the Britons. I placed third, and then I did another one in England as a run-in show, a couple of weeks out of the universe, and I placed second, and then I went on to the universe, and that was my target, that was my end goal, so that was the one we were focusing towards. So I got the results unexpectedly, and I won that one there. I won it. A dream come true, really. It wasn't something that I didn't even expect. I didn't expect to win. I didn't expect to place even in the top 3. So it was absolutely amazing. I was over the moon with it, with my end result obviously winning. So it was all good.
Amazing.
Melissa?
Yeah, so my name's Melissa Worboys. I've been competing with NABBA for a couple of seasons, actually, and same as Tracey, I've done a few other federations as well, and a couple of local competitions to my area as well. But yeah, NABBA's been the main federation that I've been competing with. So a couple of years ago, I qualified for the universe and I didn't place. So I came back after a couple of years off season. Of course, we had COVID as well, which sort of shut down the show circuit for a while across all federations. Obviously, NABBA came back this year, and I entered the NABBA England with the goal to qualify for the universe, and I won that. So I won the NABBA England and then went on to the universe, and I won the bikini class. So yeah, same as Tracey, just didn't expect it. Definitely didn't expect it, and the quality was certainly there amongst the other girls, amongst the other competitors. They all looked amazing. So yeah, just really chuffed. Yeah, really chuffed. And I can't believe it was sort of just over 3 weeks ago now. Time's flown. So yeah.
How long? 3 weeks since. Wow. Yeah, it's flown, hasn't it? Again, no small feat standing on the universe stage for any athlete. I think some people may have forgotten just how big a stage the NABBA Universe is. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, amateur bodybuilding stage you can step on. So just to be up there on that stage in that mix is it's a huge achievement for any athlete, and fair play to come away with a win is the dream. I suppose there's not many people can say that they've won the universe, so well done, girls.
Thank you. I remember going towards the universe. Whenever I first started competing, I wanted to go and see what it was all about, and I was just in awe of the competitors. They were just incredible, and I thought, never in my wildest dreams would I ever stand on that stage, never. And I just can't believe that I actually got up there. I was happy just to stand on the stage with the best of the best, never mind win. I was just happy to be up there. So it was great.
Yeah,
great experience. The girls were amazing, the competitors, they were just fantastic. The standard, I find, with NABBA, the standard is very, very high.
Yeah, there's something special about the universe as well, I think, in particular when you see all those other countries turning up to check in. You see France and all the other teams when they start to come together, and I think that's what makes NABBA particularly so special. Is it's worldwide, community, and it was a really surreal, I think, experience. Yeah, such a surreal. It's so lovely to see it all come together, but like Trace said, it also feels very special because you know how big it is, and to see everyone coming from all over the world, just such a surreal but awesome experience. Definitely.
It's a good atmosphere as well, isn't it?
It's a phenomenal place to be. I mean, Yeah, it was odd having not had a universe. I think it was for 3 years with the whole COVID thing. So it's people I think forget the heritage that NABBA has got and how long they've been about as an organisation and how much steed they're held in having the federation in other countries. And like you say, you probably don't quantify that until you get to a Worlds or a Universe and you see these all the other teams there, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, this is real, and this is happening, and yeah, it's just an amazing experience. Just being part of it, it was phenomenal from our side, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it was the first one. Yeah, it would have been the first one in what, 2 years, 3 years. So I think as well that made. Yeah, it must have been. I think it was.
That bit more. I mean, what was it that drew you both to NABBA as an organisation? Because there's a lot out there now. I think, as my friend Paul Jeffries said, he said if you can string 3 letters together, you can have a federation in bodybuilding these days. It's probably a bit harsh because that's not true. But what was it about the NABBA stage that attracted the both of you?
Trace, gone.
It probably is the history of it, the long-standing history, and going back to all of the older competitors that were there before. I find with some of these other federations, they're more of a business. It's more, I know you win prize money for some of them, and you go on, but when they say they've got a world, the Worlds or the Universe, are they really from the Worlds? Like we say, NABBA, as we said, I was standing beside a girl from Austria, from there's one from Australia, Mexico. They were genuinely, they're all over the world. So I feel that you are competing, you're competing with girls all over the world, whereas some federations may say we've got a world, you're invited to the Worlds, but they're not actually from all over the world. They may be different religions or races, but they're not, they could be from Scotland, England, Wales, wherever.
There's definitely more representation at the Universe, I would say, compared to the other big shows. I think that happen on the sort of the UK circuit. Definitely, there's a much more of an international feel at the NABBA Universe.
I also find with the judging, the judging is quite old school. There's a lot of judges in NABBA, a lot. Like some of them, there was 2 rows of judges. There must have been over 20. They're always training them up and making sure that they're meeting the right criteria. They're following the criteria. Whereas maybe some of the other ones aren't so much following it. It just depends, I suppose, on what they're looking for. Because I'm athletic figure category, but if I could go into a different federation, obviously I might not meet it. It might be completely different. Whereas I think NABBA it's done differently. The results go away. It's all counted up and assessed. Nobody knows where they're placed until you're actually called out. I think it's just run better.
Yeah.
That comes with years of experience, of putting on multiple shows in multiple countries and having standardization. Interesting, really. We should get Eddie on. Eddie Elwood is he's sort of in charge of the judges, just to put that across, and how, I suppose, from an athlete perspective, you just want transparency and fairness, and I think that's across the board. You want to be able to see where you've dropped points, get the feedback, where you possibly you could have won. I think the Universe is always an interesting one because, like you say, you've got such a large panel of judges from all over the world. There was a few results I was like, top 3. I was a bit like, all right, in that order, okay, fair enough. But that's subjective, isn't it? It could be any. But it does make the difference, I suppose, guys, doesn't it?
Yeah. I find with some federations, somebody could win their class, and then within a few months they're judging. Whereas NABBA, it could take you a year, 2 years, 3 years to actually pass the criteria of whatever it is that they need, the standard, to be a judge. You know, where some of these other ones are jumping in really quickly. Oh, I've won a show, so now I'm going to judge, and they're in judging. So do they really know the full criteria of all of the classes? Whereas NABBA, those judges, you know, everything's scrutinized properly, and they're trained, and they have to do so many shows. I don't know how many years or whatever it is, but I know they have to do quite a few shows and meet the standard before they're actually given that seat to judge.
Yeah, I think I think Tracey's hit the nail on the head there. I think in terms of competing with NABBA, you know, you're getting a real broad variety of experience across the judges, and you know, that you're showcasing that physique that you've worked on for months and months. The judging is always very fair as well, the way they do it, and the results take quite a while to come in as well, so that you know that it's all being sort of done properly, counted up properly. I know that they double, triple check to make sure that they've got the correct results as well, so they're not done particularly quickly. And I know that was the case at the Universe for us as well. With my class, with the Bikini class, they actually put another class on, I think, before we were due on for our results, one more than they were going to, just to make sure that the results were accurate for my class. So it took a little while. Had a little bit of a nerve-wracking wait.
Oh my God.
I know, it dragged it out a little bit longer for us, but it was done to make sure the results were correct and were accurate. So yeah, I think it's experience panel that you're being put in front of, fair judging, and as well with NABBA, I think, like Tracey said, just the history with them and everything that comes with NABBA as well. It's just very special. Just very, very special. And I find as well, I think because it's not run so much as a business compared to other federations, I'm sure Tracey will agree with this, just competing fees in generally are a little bit lower. We all know that competing is an expensive hobby, so there's that as well. So they do try to keep those fees and things lower, which is good.
Interesting you should say that, because that was a conversation I had with somebody else this morning about competing. I was just going through what they'd done this season, and they were like, well, it's just a conveyor belt, this one, Phil. It's, you know, we're in, the numbers are huge. I wasn't on stage very long. It just felt like a meat market, was how it was described to me, which is always interesting, and that it's just that it's done for profit rather than for the athletes. I mean, there's people. These things need to make money, and they need to be able to put on great shows, put into great trophies, and great athlete experience. I think it's paramount. I just find it interesting that people are saying the same things, and that is one of the things that NABBA, like you've highlighted, don't do. It's a non-for-profit organisation that's focused around the love of bodybuilding, and it's good to it's good to hear people appreciate that and see that, because I don't think everybody fully gauges that part of it. The NABBA experience. What was? Go on, sorry, Trace.
With NABBA, as you say, you know, it's a non-profit organization. If you do your regional, or you do your British finals or whatever, they will not put you through to the British finals or the Universe unless they think you're good enough. Even if you win your category, if they think you're not good enough to stand on that stage at Brits or Universe or Worlds, you won't go. You won't get the invite. Whereas other federations, they could invite the top 4 in every category, just to get, obviously, people there, the support there, the audience, and just to make money, really. But for me personally, I would rather be invited knowing that I'm good enough and I've got a good chance of placing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it goes without saying. I think, from, again, an athlete standpoint, you want to be up there giving it a go, rather than just up there making up numbers. You know, that's I think UKBFF were very similar years ago. It was like, if you were top 2, didn't necessarily mean you got an invite. Didn't think you were good enough if you didn't get that. It was simple as that. So what was what was it like for each of you that minute when you stood on that stage and you've won, right? You've realised you won. What was that moment like? Just explain how it felt, guys, because I know not many people will get there or experience that. So it's definitely worth sharing.
Well, Melissa, you first.
Yeah. Honestly, and Tracey will say the same. You can't really blame the feeling, but I think because it's the NABBA universe, there's just something incredibly special about standing on that stage, knowing about its history and the legends who, you know, the others who stood on that stage, and again, the fact that you're competing with other competitors from around the world, it's just that in itself is just such a special feeling. It's brilliant. Yeah, backstage with everybody else when you're getting to know everybody is just it's but in terms of winning, just yeah, no words, just unreal. Yeah, I just remember I was backstage, and like I said, the results took a little bit longer to come up than we thought, so they put on another class, which just made the waiting even worse. So yeah, we went back on stage, and the stage is obviously stunning at the venue. It's quite a big stage, and I think just standing there and I just, yeah, there's literally just no words. You get such a buzz and an adrenaline from being on stage anyway, and then the results as well. You can just feel, Tracey said the same, you can feel your heart, or I could, my heart was, you know, going, your adrenaline's going and sort of pumping. And I think they, you know, they start to call out, you know, top 6, 5th, 4th, and I just remember I got to sort of the top 3, and I was thinking, oh, top for the universe, this is amazing, so chuffed with that, so happy. And then of course they called 3rd, and it wasn't me, it was Germany, and then it was down to myself and another lady from France who looked amazing. And I just remember in my head, I was just preparing in my head, 2nd place representing United Kingdom, and I was almost going over it in my head just so that, you know, I wasn't disappointed, because I couldn't believe it was down to me and another lady for 1st and 2nd. So I remember preparing in my head to get 2nd because she looked amazing. And I thought, oh, you know, universe runner up, fantastic, you know, such a amazing result. And then of course they said in 2nd place, and I was hearing France, and then from there I just sort of went a little bit blank and a little bit numb, because it was in that moment I thought, oh my god, it's me, I've done it. And it just, the next few moments are just a little bit of a blur, really. It's a mix of sort of like emotion and adrenaline at the same time. I just remember feeling so happy, but all the butterflies were going. And then when they finally called out, you know, 1st place representing UK and my name, it was just all a little bit of a blur, to be honest with you. I was just so happy. So there's no, and Tracey said the same, there's no words. Of course, you know, you're after your photos, they rush you backstage for a quick catch up with you, and you can hardly talk. I know me and Tracey were just like so yeah, just, it's the best feeling. Yeah, the best feeling. Just being at the universe is amazing, and placing, but to win, it was just the best feeling. I don't think I'll get over it anytime soon.
Did it? Wow. Were you still pinching yourself days after going, did that really happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I have you know, my friends and my friends at work, and just everyone going, oh, hi, you know, hello Miss Universe, and you know, just chuckling with you, saying, you know, you're Miss Universe. Don't say that, it sounds weird, like, but you are, you did it. So yeah, just
the badge on.
yeah it's just the best feeling. Yeah, and you still, like you said, Phil, you look back on it and you think, oh god, yeah, like I won, you know, yeah, I did it. Yeah, it's just incredible. Yeah, incredible feeling. Go on, Trace, you can chat. I know you hardly talk on your interview video, and I watched it back.
Just listening to you, making me nervous. My heart's going with it, just thinking about it all. But for me, I would say, out of the whole year of all of the shows I've done, it was the best not because it was the universe, but because I was probably the most relaxed. Now that sounds really weird. Because it was the universe and I was competing against everybody all over the world, I had no expectations. I didn't put the pressure on myself. I never even thought the judges would even notice me. So I just went out and I thought, I'm going to enjoy this. I've stood on the stage. I'm happy. I've done it. I've made it this far. All I ever wanted to do was win the Northern Ireland, and I did it. And obviously, my partner kept pushing me on and encouraging me, oh, keep going, you'll keep going. You've got the invite. You're good enough. You're good enough. And I was like, really? So for me, it was going out for having a bit of fun, really, to enjoy it and just say I stood on the stage. So I think because it was more relaxed, I wasn't putting the pressure on myself. And then it hit me. It was like whenever they did the first call outs, they called me out first. And I had to check my number. Like, they called my number. They've called my number. And I was like, oh, and then I had to go out on the first call out. And I was like, all I was thinking in my head was, they've noticed me. That was it. They've noticed me. So the other thing about it was my name being called in the audience. My friends were screaming for me. All I heard was my name constantly. And I think that just lit a fire inside me, and it just got me going even more and posing harder and enjoying it and smiling and just really going for it, because I could hear my friends all shouting and roaring for me. And that really, really does help. It really does help. And you're just, you don't see anybody, you know, you're maybe trying to see where they're sitting, but all you're hearing is all these sounds coming at you. And all you can see, you're just smiling at the judges, this big smile, and you're just focusing on them. But everybody else, it's just darkness, and you just hear the roars and the shouts and your name being called. And so anyway, as Melissa said, we went off, we did all our quarter turns and everything, and then we would go off. And I don't know his name, the man that interviewed us after.
Ronnie.
He grabbed me before I even knew where I'd placed. He was chatting to me, and he goes, well, how do you think you've done? And I was like, I really don't know. I says, I think I've got top 6. They called me out, so I think I must be in the top 6. And he says to me, I think maybe you'd be in the top 3. I says, really? I was so shocked. Really? Do you think top 3? He goes, well, I don't want to, you know, put some ideas in your head, but, you know, you never know. I says, well, you never know, but you know what? Top 6, I'm over the moon.
Yeah.
So that was that. And then the other category came on, and then we had to wait a wee while. So I was just chatting away backstage to the girls. I thought, you know what? I'm happy with what I've done. I performed well. Everything was great. And it was very, very relaxed. And then when we went back on again, whenever they were calling, as Melissa says, this is where, you know, I was oblivious to it all. I wasn't expecting anything. And even though I had the first call out, I still wasn't really, I was hoping top 6. So whenever they called 6th place, I was like, oh, they haven't called me. Okay. It was like, maybe I haven't placed, because obviously there was more than 6. So maybe I haven't placed. That was okay. It was fine. I was happy. It was all right with that. I went down to 5th and 4th, and then it came to 3rd, and it was a Spanish girl. I was oblivious to who was placing where, because I was just in my own wee bubble. So I was, and then it came down to the 2 of us, United Kingdom, obviously, and myself, Northern Ireland. And I was like, I've come second, because the United Kingdom, she was absolutely amazing. You know, she really was, and she wins a lot of shows. So I just assumed she had won, because she's always incredible. And next thing they called, I didn't know they were going to call me out as Northern Ireland or United Kingdom, or what they were going to call me out as. So they said 2nd place, then United Kingdom, and then the girl's name. And I just froze. I was like, oh my God, I have won. And I was wearing contact lenses, and my eyes just started welling up, and it was like blinking away. I'm trying to you know, don't cry, just hold it together, hold it together. And it was just like so surreal. It's just so hard to explain. It was like, but I don't deserve to win. That's how I felt. I felt I don't deserve this. I'm not really that good. Are you sure they've got it right? You know,
Not that good. On the universe stage, not that good.
And then obviously whenever I went backstage, as Melissa said, you don't even get a chance to take it in. You're just pulled straight away, rushed downstairs and interviewed. And I think it was just the whole shock of it all, and everything came out in my interview, and I just couldn't believe it. I remember Ronnie saying to me, and you said you'd be happy with top 6, and I said you should get top 3, and you went and won. And even now, saying that, you know, a Miss Universe athletic figure, I've won it, it still doesn't feel real. It really doesn't. It doesn't feel real. But yeah, I've achieved something beyond my wildest dreams, and
it's phenomenal achievement.
There's nothing higher to me. There's nothing better.
It's a little piece of I think it's nice to feel that a little piece of history that you're a part of, that will just stay with you now, you know, forever. And it's like Tracey.
Guys, just a quickie, whilst we're on Zoom and we're running out of time, 60 seconds left on this, what I'm going to do is just stop it and we'll jump straight back on another one, because this is conversations flow fantastically. So I'll just end this now. We'll pick back up where we were with that.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
And we're back. So go on, where we were talking training then. Go on. So we're back in the gym straight after the universe, was it?
Yes. I was just saying to Tracey that unfortunately, so it was fantastic getting the win and such a lovely post-show experience, and then about 6 days after I came down with a flu. So not the most successful post-show. So I had a good week off the gym, but my body probably thanked me for it anyway. And I had a good week off to recover. So so last week was my first full week back at the gym, which was lovely. So it was nice to get back into training and just feeling a bit stronger generally from all the extra food and extra calories. Your body needs post show anyway. But so that first week wasn't quite as successful. So I think the same. Did you have a couple of days off as well?
Yeah, so as soon as I got back, I went straight back to the gym. I think I maybe went 3 times that week because my body was just tired. I was just mentally drained. Yeah. And I was straight back in, because I'm a school teacher, so I was straight back in to work. But I think getting back into the gym, it was nice because people say, well, how did you do? And you say, well, I won. You know, it was nice to be able to go back and say you won, because they were following your journey and seeing how hard you were training. So that was nice. But yes, I did. I was run down. I had to get some antibiotics and things myself, and a little bit of physio stuff done, because I think I just pushed myself so hard over the year, you know, training and dieting. And but now, yes, back into the swing of it again. As you say, a lot more food. Like my coach was straight on it. So as soon as I finished, he had my next diet sent straight through. So I'm enjoying the extra carbs, and I'm enjoying, obviously, feeling a bit stronger in the gym, starting to being a bit heavier, and keep going, keep trying to grow. We've got goals, we've got things to improve, lots to do.
It's we've not been that consistent, have we, babe? No. I'm been busy. We've very inconsistent for quite a while, actually. But anyway, it's the shows take so much out of us that getting there. Obviously, it's not like a 2-day process. It's like all the kit's got to be clean, serviced, ready to go, loaded up, and then travel to wherever it is you're traveling to, and then you set up the day before. We all know. And it's just quite an intense few days, because you've got all the reverse to do when you get back, and it's quite physically demanding, isn't it?
And all my
Yeah.
admin.
Oh, admin. So it takes us a good 2 or 3 days to recover post-show. It's oh, God.
Shows it took us a week.
Yeah, it was a full week to get over that.
No, you guys universe didn't stop, but we sort of run about, so you're working just as hard as we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the uni was it was we would normally have more staff at the event like that, but the numbers were
lastminute.comers.
yeah, it's been a lot like that towards the back end of the season as well, where the numbers sort of the week before a show, we generally know where we're going to be. You know, if there's 100 booked in, we know how many staff we're going to need for that, and so on and so forth. And it was they were fairly reserved, and then it just all the final week it just rocketed, and then
Yeah, like Tuesday to Thursday, everyone books in.
yeah, and then a lot of people just turned up at the universe, just like, come and get a tan. We were like, oh right, okay, but we've maybe then. We were lucky we took enough solution, enough muscle tan. But if we hadn't, you know, you generally account for, you take as much as you need, not loads, because that's just carting it around.
Always take a spare,
You do always take a spare, yeah. So yeah, it ended up Sarah and I doing a lot more work than we had originally anticipated, but it got done and it was all right. So yeah,
You've managed very well.
Yeah, you did.
we had one of our girls who's again a good friend of ours was due to be there on the Saturday to help with doing top coating, which is a lot quicker process anyway, and come down with allergy, so couldn't. So we were like, oh, here we go, more to do. But it's yeah, it was all right. It worked out all right in the end, and everyone got well looked after. Always good. It's always good fun. I mean, the guy, obviously I look after the guy's side, so be interested to hear what, from the ladies' point of view, how that was for you guys.
Yeah.
That's how Melissa and I first got chatting.
Is there a nice
our talent experience?
Yeah, it is. There's something about the tanning experience, particularly with women, and that's top tip for competitors, any newbie for next year, next season, is that you'll tend to meet your friends in the tanning booth. Yeah, so although it's such a funny experience, isn't it, Tracey? Because you're all in the same boat, really. You know, you don't, generally speaking, you don't know anyone. You might have people there who are also competing that you know, but generally speaking, a lot of the girls don't know each other, and they are, you know, they're entering shows separately, and they don't know anyone. So it's yeah, it's such a funny experience because you all turn up, you don't know anyone, you're all sort of, you know, looking at each other, and just me and Tracey just sort of clicked instantly, and we were both I think you said hello first, didn't you, Tracey? And we just got yapping, really, didn't we? And yeah, and hit it off from there. And then yeah, after sort of, you know, an hour stood next to each other in a booth, you know, no clothes on, getting tanned. And then, yeah, we realised Trace was at the same hotel as me, so me and my husband gave Trace a lift back, and yeah, we just hung out for a little bit, didn't we? And we went to the shop and we picked up some water and some extra bits. But I think the tanning experience in general, particularly for anyone who's not had a tan before, it was fab. It was so well organised. So kudos to you guys. We had our venue, our tanning venue details well in advance. We had amazing directions, because I've had an experience before where the tanning venues not necessarily been near to the venue, and the directions there weren't great, so people were getting lost, getting late. I remember Sarah literally, she sent a video to us all on WhatsApp, and I remember you literally through the venue, Sarah, where it was, where to park, you know, walking through the doors, down, you know, down the corridors, and physically showed us where to go when you get to the venue. So it was, yeah, just that side of it, the organizational side of it and the direction side of it was brilliant. And it wasn't the first time that I've had before, but what I particularly liked that I haven't experienced before is just you guys sent through, I think it's part of the automated email system when somebody books, when a competitor books with you, but I got an automated email soon as I booked, giving me a really comprehensive list for skin prep. So yeah, it was really, really detailed and just so useful. And it was there was a couple of tips and things that I hadn't, you know, for someone who's had a tan before, I hadn't heard of before, or so it was just really, really useful. So I just felt from the minute that I booked, we were sort of well looked after, and we were well looked after when we arrived as well. So yeah, you guys were fantastic. You were on time, and I think from from my experience as well, ladies talk and Sarah will laugh, but I had quite a few accidents over the course of my 2 shows with my tans in the bathroom apartment, which, you know, I don't know why it's never happened to me before, and there is sort of every time I managed to fit me back in, and I think that's always a sign of a very good tanner, is someone, those things do happen sometimes. They'd never happened to me, so I was mortified, and I thought I'd my tan, and you know, I was going to have a horrible streak down my leg of what was very obvious as to what had happened. But Sarah fitted me in.
It's those wee things. You're better off not doing it. Just have a wee. Just sit on the toilet and have a wee. It's fine.
I know, and I think whilst we're on the subject of tanning, I think that was, you know, something I said to Sarah. I think I'll definitely pass on is sometimes, yeah, just depends on what you're using to go to the toilet once you've got your tan on. Just maybe consider not using anything. I thought I was being quite clever, and I brought a shiwi, thinking, you know,
Did you try that?
Yeah, and it didn't work. I had an accident twice on both of my shows, and I had to message Sarah in a panic. But they were, yeah, you guys were amazing. They fitted me back in on my top coat, and just said, right, come a little bit. We'll sort you out, and we'll sort out where you've messed it up.
Just want to show me your bum, don't you?
That was from a competitor standpoint, 100%. Just you guys were fantastic, and I very, very looked after from start to finish, really. And even to the point with, you know, like I said, top tips, just things that I hadn't necessarily thought of before, but sort of baggy clothes, making sure you wear baggy clothes. But I came in what I thought would be appropriate. So I had a really, really baggy hoodie and really, really baggy tracky trousers that I'd worn before. But again, Sarah will, you know, vouch for this. I kept having issues with the waistband. So I think my first show was the NABBA England, and it happened a little bit there, and then we prepped that in advance for the uni. And Sarah said to me, right, for the uni, don't use the trackies that you've been wearing. There's certain waistbands and certain tracksuits that they will, when you have your base coat, they will sort of give you like a horrible sort of it was like a pattern, wasn't it, Sarah? And it's sort of all around the stomach and groin area. It kind of mucked up my tan. So immediately Sarah said, don't go for trackies, get a really long sort of, you know, like extra large sleep shirt from, you know, wherever, Primark, wherever, and it's just going to be nice and loose and fitting that you can just chuck over you, and it'll come down to your knees, so you can walk around in it quite comfortably. And again, that was something that I'd never been told before, and it just was perfect, because it meant I didn't have to worry about physically putting trousers back on over my tan. And so it was just such a good tip, and it really sorted me out of the universe as well,
especially with the dark tan. And then you're sleeping in the hotel room, obviously, because I'm from Northern Ireland over, and then the tan sheets are getting really dirty and stuff. But I found with the muscle tan, it wasn't as dirty. It was just lovely on your skin. But what you're saying about the clothes, the baggy clothes, so obviously I've had those experiences myself. So I invested in it's called let me get this right, a tan onesie. So it's a tanning company. So it's a big onesie, and I even traveled, you know, from in the airport. I just wore it over, and it has like air vents underneath your armpits and things, where when you get tanned, all those sticky bits, you know, are all like your body's able to breathe with the tan on. I slept in it. Yeah, it was really, really good. So it's worth investing in. So I slept in it so the sheets didn't get dirty.
They are great. However, you have to not pull the drawstring on them.
That's it.
Otherwise,
Yes,
you
yes.
get exactly the same thing. So they're fine. You just have to leave them loose and not take them in like I know what all girls want to, but just leave it loose, and then they're absolutely fine from that point of view.
It's transfer, sheet transfer. You don't generally get much with muscle tan.
No.
It's pretty good for that. As somebody again, so someone I was talking to this morning was saying exactly the same. Going, didn't come off of my sheets. I'm like, well,
but that's our process. So we put the 2 light coats on you. You dry in no time, and that's why you don't get that. So if you go to a show and you're really wet and you're wet for ages, you can guarantee that most of that's going to come off onto your sheets. Then you turn up the next day and you're not that dark. Then they have to do extra coats on you, and then it takes a lot longer anyway. So
it's
a process.
The point being is that if you stood there wet and sticky in tan, then it's not going well. It shouldn't be like that.
Because I had quite a fear of that, and I remember I kept saying to you, and I said, am I dry? Am I dry? And so I said, yes, I promise you are dry. And I was so worried about it, wasn't I? And I have to say, literally, just as you said, I put my clothes back on, put my new long sort of night dress t-shirt back on, and went back upstairs, and the tan wasn't moving anywhere. It wasn't going anywhere. And I always, again, another sort of top tip, but I think it's widely known for competitors, if you can bring obviously a top sheet for your hotel bed that you're sleeping in, just in case. So use that. But I didn't really need it, to be honest with you. And I think it's the one tan where I've had the least come off on anything like that. I hardly noticed anything, so it was just brilliant. I think as well, the night before, knowing that you're dry, you just feel a bit comfortable as well anyway, sitting in your room, sitting down, you can relax properly. Whereas I've had tans before, like you said, where they've stayed wet for quite a long time, or the colour didn't really look like it was developing, and you start to panic then the night before. You want to be relaxing, you want to be putting your feet up, but if the tan is, it coming off on everything, you just don't want to sit down. It's not a nice feeling either.
It does. It just feels horrible and sticky and messy. And like you say, you start to overthink what's going on with it. Should it be like that? Is it, is it going to be dark enough, and all that other stuff that goes with it? It's not where you want to be.
No, and it is an 8-hour developing tan anyway. So you'll go to bed one colour and you'll wake up another colour. See another colour.
I've had a few bad experiences with other tan companies, where you're rushed in. It's like a conveyor belt, as you say. You're rushed in, they tan you up really quickly. They don't spend the proper time. You come out, you're sticky, you're wet. An area of me was obviously I'd sat down, and I just had this white glutes, and I was so like, oh no, like I've got these big white glutes, and I had to go back the next day and they said it would fix it, and obviously rolled up again, they rolled me and everything. It didn't fix it. The second coat didn't fix it, and when I look back on my photos, I was a lot whiter in that area, a lot lighter. So for me, because I was aware of that whenever I was on stage, I didn't feel confident. I didn't want to turn around. I was, conscious that my tan wasn't right.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously I've been to other shows. I'm like, oh, what's that red mark on that man's arm? Or what's that bit? And then my friend and I were, oh, but he's got a red mark too. What is that? And then I go, oh, the tan, they're melting. The tan was running and it was just red. It was all coming down their chest.
Yeah.
There was a man, he was running on and tapping them with the towel. They were just melting basically, and it was just all red coming down their arms and the definition of their their biceps, and it was just a mess.
Yeah,
it wasn't good. Whereas the muscle tan was it was perfect, as you said, Melissa. I could go up to bed, my pillow was clean from the face. It just dried lovely, and the bonus was it lasted for weeks. And everyone thought, oh, you've got a lovely tan. And it was so good. Whereas other ones you wipe it off and that's it, and you're scrubbing it off and you've got patchy bits. But this tan, it was so even. And people say, oh, were you in the sunbed, or, you know, were you on holiday? I'm like, no, I had my tan from the show. And it was like 3 weeks later, and I still, you know, my tan's just wearing off now, and it was lovely.
Yeah.
It was worth the money.
Yeah.
That's it. 3 weeks on, it's worth it.
See, the thing is, from having a beauty salon and doing clients for the last 20 years, to me, every single one of you who books in has booked in for a beauty treatment. So I know it's a little bit weird that, you know, there might be like 2 or 3 or 4 of you in a tent at a time. However, when you're in that tent, you do get, you should get a hairnet, you should get sticky feet, you should get barrier cream, you should be tanned correctly, you shouldn't be rushed, you should have time to dry. So for me, I'll treat everyone, and, you know, I know it is a big expense. There's a lot of expenses that go with it, but, you know, I want you to have that, like you've had a treatment, and that's what you should be.
Yeah. Well, I just felt very relaxed from the get-go, and I think for anyone who's new to competing, it's always quite a nervous experience getting your tan done, because the obvious, you know, you're stripping down in front of people you don't know. And not only that, you know, you're amongst other competitors as well who you don't know, which is always a little bit of a nervous experience, sort of seeing some of them for the first time. But yeah, I have to say the atmosphere that you guys created, just so, yes, I mean, Sarah, you were lovely, you were so friendly, and I think particularly as well the not so much for myself, but for some of the international ladies that were coming over, maybe English wasn't their first language, you were just so lovely and patient with them, and it was just, yeah, I think just you did such a fantastic job of making it a really nice experience for them, as much as it can sometimes feel awkward. Yeah, it was lovely, and it was just nice to chat to everyone, just made us feel as comfortable as possible. So yeah,
thank you.
And I would also say to any first time competitors, spend the money and get the tan.
Yes,
get it done. It's worth every penny. You have slaughtered, you have worked so hard for the whole year or whatever you've prepped for. Don't let the tan mess up all of the hard work that you've done.
100%.
You get somebody else to do it, they don't do it right, you're not even. You know, the tan matters no matter what category you're in. As you know, Melissa, bikini with the muscle definition, you would notice a mistake very easily on bikini girls.
Yeah.
Whereas mine, there's more striations, more, you know, the abs. We need that. You need to be able to be tanned right to see all of those
100%
striations, the muscles, the definition. And then when it comes to the men, you know, if you're not getting a tan that's dried right, or the color's not right, you know, the men are being judged on if the tan's not dry. Well, what I'm trying to say is it's going to make them look softer.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that graininess in the muscle definition. So the tan is so important. You may think at the time, oh, that's expensive, I'll just do it myself. But that could make or break the decision of a first or second place.
Definitely. And I think what from the audience as well, and seeing it from the audience perspective, I know myself and Tracey, we've watched shows, well, I've watched a lot of shows. You can see the people who got a good tan versus those who perhaps have tried it themselves, or maybe they've used a different tanner, a different tanning solution. I don't know about you, but I got constant compliments on how my tan looked on stage versus a couple other people. And it just, you know, it's your stage photos as well. It makes such a difference. So obviously the main thing and how you're presenting that physique, and just the difference it makes in your physique is huge. But also you're going to be paying for photos afterwards because you want to see, you want to see those post show, and it's a special memory to collect and pay for those photos. Again, and just doesn't look right or looks awful. It's so worth spending the money. It's definitely 100%. And I think as well, when you're doing your own tan, it's also an added stress that you don't need. And again, we spoke about feeling looked after by you guys, knowing that we've just got to either take a very short drive to a venue nearby, or in the instance of the Universe, walking downstairs to a designated tanning area. It gives you peace of mind, and it's such a nice experience. got to leave my room, go downstairs, and I'm being looked after, rather than taking all this tanning solution with you yourself and trying to do it in your room. No, it's just so worth the money. Yeah,
definitely. And it's great whenever you're staying in the same hotel, you know, as the tanners, as you say, you literally, what time's my tan at? Right, I'll go and get my breakfast or do what I have to do. Walk down the stairs into the room, you're sorted, back up, feet up, relax.
Yeah,
you know, it makes a big difference. It really does.
We that made huge
stress levels down.
It's the universe was quite unique in that respect, because same with the Brit, it was because we were in the hotel and we were set up there and we weren't having to move venues or anything. We just meant we could be a lot more relaxed around it, because you see, you just pop down, straight down, you're there, everything's ready to go. Because we had so many people turn up on the day, because we were there, it didn't stress us out, because we have normally everything's allotted for time and numbers and staff, and making sure, again, the athlete experience is there, everyone gets looked after properly, everybody gets the right time and attention, and everything's done right. But yeah, that definitely does help when it's like that.
It is nice when you finish, you don't have to tidy away the tents or get up at 4 to be in the venue on time to put it all back up.
It's we talk about cost, because cost comes up so much. We know it's not a cheap process, is it? You know, it's £75. Whether or not that changes to 80 next year, we don't know, until, because we won't know until we know what things are going to cost us. But everything's shot up. But the actual cost base is quite high. You know, when you've got your staff in there, you've got your hotel rooms in there, you travel, bottle of muscle tans of £120 a bottle, just for the solution. It costs soon rack up. So there's trust me, if we could do it cheaper, it would be cheaper.
And of course, we give money to the federation.
And then obviously the what's left out of it, we generally give a big proportion back into the federations that we work with, because we want to see it filter back into, again, athlete experience, getting guys sent away, if it's a Worlds, if it's a uni, getting those teams out there, making sure the best trophies are there, you know. And that small part of what we do, there is a revenue stream in there, but I think probably what's most unique with us is that does definitely go well back into the people we work with, as it's important to us, as is making sure every athlete is presented the best they can be on stage after all the hard work they've put in. It's much the girls. The girls are always much easier. The guys, especially NABBA, have it has its challenges. The girls always look absolutely spot on, and we're just working on a new top coat. Just looked at me then, we're working on a slightly different top coat, specifically for NABBA. For the guys, because based on skin tone, just to get a bit more depth in the colour for everyone goes leaving those tents. I know they're spot on, but certain lights will wash colour out as well. So we test ran that last week, and it looks spot on. Really pleased with it. I was just sending it across to some of the judging panel to get their feedback. That's all been really positive. Like I say, it's a reserve to the gents, but if we weren't completely obsessed by perfection, you're making sure we're evolving what we're doing and making sure we're presenting what the judges want to see from a colour perspective, then we won't do anything, but we are, and it does make a difference. Like you said, it is the final piece of the puzzle being stood on that stage. It can be the difference between first and second. It can be a difference between placing and not placing. So, you know, we want to make sure it's done right and done the best it can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, you want to tick all the boxes, you know, all of the important things. The hard work's in. You've prepped, you've trained, you haven't missed a workout, you haven't missed a meal. So don't screw it up and miss that. The tan, you know, the hair and the makeup are all, you know, you could possibly do them yourself. If there's something has to give, don't let it be the tan. It's the priority over the hair and the makeup, because it's not a beauty contest at the end of the day. You know, you're not getting marked on what your hair looks like or your makeup looks like. It's your body and your chemistry.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because bikinis, topic of conversation, right? The ladies' bikinis are fantastic. They're absolutely fabulous, but and massively expensive, which is, you understand with the amount of work that goes into them. But you know, you look at that, you've rightly pointed out, people are getting judged on the physique, not the hair, the makeup, and the bikini they're wearing.
Yeah. Now, when I'm talking about NABBA here, because obviously it's a non-profit organization, they're not into. They'll cut you off at the neck and look at the rest down. A lot of some other federations, they will mark you on your hair and your makeup, and you know, it is like a beauty pageant. So that's what I like about NABBA as well. It's not like who's the prettiest up there. They're judging you on your symmetry, your muscle, what you've worked for. It's not how attractive you are.
Yeah.
You know. So that's what I like about NABBA as well.
Yeah.
As far as the bikinis go, well, it doesn't. The bikinis are expensive.
Was yours the jade green one? Was the emerald green, or was
mine? Yes, mine was the green. My best friend, she owns her own the bikini company, and because of me, I asked her to make me one, and now things have just excelled over the years. So she makes my bikinis, well, she sponsors me, so I'm lucky that way. But the bikinis, you don't have to go out and spend an absolute fortune on a bikini.
No.
You know, it doesn't matter if you've got 10,000 diamonds on it or you've got 200 diamonds on it. It doesn't matter. They're not marking you on your bikini, but yes, choose a color that suits your complexion, you know, your hair, your tone, your hair color and stuff. But you also, a bikini can make it or break it as well. It needs to be able to fit you properly. And a lot of girls go up there and the bikinis do not fit them right. You need to get that service as well.
That's a good point. You do see some not great fitting bikinis up there, I suppose.
We'll have to do another about girls getting ready.
Yes.
Yes, that's fine.
Some of them, when you look back in photographs and things, and when girls, my category, are maybe doing a side chest pose or whatever, and then they've got the gapiness, and you can see right there, you know, that they're not getting the right fits in their bikinis. So it's really, really important. And also how you wear the bikini. You know, it can tell a lot by, you know, your torso, the length of your body, your lats, your shoulder width. There's lots to take in. So especially new competitors, whenever you go out there to buy a bikini, make sure you're getting that service. I would say, me personally, I wouldn't just buy one off the reel. I get it made bespoke to fit my body, because believe it or not, from I did the Northern Ireland's in, was it April, till I did the Universe, the same bikini didn't fit me. I had to get a different bikini because I had grown, I had got bigger. So that, you know, and there's rentals out there as well, yes, but I would definitely get the bikini made to fit your body, get it measured, get it fitted correctly. And some bikini companies, I don't really want to mention bikini companies here, you know, it's not promoting them, but so the good ones, they will, maybe if you spend hundreds on one, they will take that back and adjust it for you or change it slightly or tweak it. So that, you know, where you are investing in it, or you're buying proper crystals, or, you know, up around your neck, the Swarovski crystals or whatever they are, you're spending that little bit extra on those. They won't break. Some girls, their bikinis have broken backstage and they've maybe had to borrow a bikini off somebody. That's happened as well. So it's really, really important that you get it right.
They're quite heavy. Yeah. When you've got that amount of jewellery on, I can only imagine there's some weight in that.
They need to be comfortable as well. So, believe it or not, some of them are so uncomfortable. So, you know, I've tried a few different companies, and it's like you just cannot wait to get it off. But I've mastered this one now, so I can sit all day in it. They're brilliant.
They look stunning. So yeah.
Might get one for cleaning it.
Yeah, around the house.
Do that. What colour we have? I'm going to hold you to that.
An emerald green.
Oh. Send me the details.
I think it's something worth noting as well, because as you said, the bikinis they're just stunning, aren't they? They're beautiful, and I think it's a lovely part of, you know, the competing experience as well. As a female, picking out your bikini or getting it made like Tracey, it's such a lovely part of it, and it's such a special thing because it's you only wear it, you know, for a short period on the day or a little bit when you're practicing your pose, so it's such a special thing. But also just worth mentioning, like we were saying about the tan, again, the muscle tan color is so lovely, I find, against any suits, but there are some tans that I've seen at different shows, and I probably couldn't tell you what tans they are. Probably some that are a bit too gold, some that are a bit too sort of yellow, and they don't look nice against the suits, whereas that muscle tan, it's such a lovely dark color. I don't think I saw any suits at the Universe that it didn't go well with. Same with the men, really, in that, you know, their trunks, it's such a lovely dark color. And I think, did you mention, Sarah, is it got red undertones? I'm not sure what undertones it has, but I just felt like it
got a brown chocolatey base undertone, really, because that goes with any skin tone. So
it just looks lovely against all of the suits, whereas I've seen some some other tans, particularly gold, and I don't think they always go with all the colors as well. And it's just little things like that. I think as a competitor, it's things to consider when you're picking your tanning supplier and or what tan that you're using, you know.
And you'll find that some of the other tan companies, I've noticed, you'll see the men, they might have big fingerprints on their trunks, or you know, whereas, and even with my bikinis, you know, maybe they're just ruined and you can't really wear them again. Whereas the muscle tan one, you wouldn't even have noticed the tan on it at all. It was perfect, and because it dried so well, so that was great that it didn't ruin the bikinis. And I didn't see any fingerprints on the men.
Yeah,
we're gonna run out of time on this video. So sorry guys, I'm just like, we're gonna run out. It's gonna cut us off any second. So if do you want to jump on another one, or do you want to wrap it up, or what do you want to?
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. I think we'll
just wrap it up now. I think
Thank you so much for taking the time out to share your experiences with. It's been a really great podcast. Hopefully I get some people actually watch it.
I do think we should do another one, just us three do it, and let's talk about like bikinis, and we mention some bikini companies, because I don't think girls
get
know how to.
Let's get a bikini company on as well, so you can
get your friend on.
Yeah,
okay.
There we go, back in the room. After abrupt ending, we should maybe sign off, and
you should be able to do that. Edit it like a pro, babe.
Yeah, I'm not a pro, really not.
Get Tom.
Really, get Tom to do it.
At the end of it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, thanks ever so much for taking the time out and joining us and discussing your experiences and everything that you've done with NABBA and everything else. I think it's a really interesting perspective for people to see from the athletes. It's what it's all about at the end of the day. So yeah, thanks for
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us. So on the second video of Muscle Town podcast.
So technically it's the third. The second one was rubbish, so it's been archived somewhere. The car park episode where Lee and I discussed car parks and venues for 10 minutes at the start of it. So there's some relevance, you know. We like a good car park. I know it's not too expensive and it's easy to park, but I'm going to leave that there because I'm doing it again. Right, guys, have a lovely evening. I'll let Sarah arrange the next one for you. I think
brilliant.
Girls really want to see that side of
girls into NABBA.
Yeah, I always remember Verity competing back in 2014 now. Verity Harrington, she's been a good friend of ours, and the stage was full. You know, it was absolutely full, and it was. I mean, it's been busy this year. This year's been not as full with athletes as most years are, but it's great to see people back on there.
To do on Verity.
Get Verity on, yeah. I'm sure she'll be up for that always. Anyway, there we go.
Thank you very much. Right. Have a lovely evening.
I shall stop this and I'll catch you again, guys. So take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.